Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Let me introduce myself. My name is Rizky Algibran Nazolla, and I come from national Bandar Lampung, Province of Lampung, City of Bandar Lampung. So in this kind of situation, I want to read a preference about the motion. Under motion of this house would arrange students in classroom based on their intelligence and academic performance rather than on their age. So ladies and gentlemen, before we jump to my mechanism and arguments, let's see in our status quo first. In our status quo right now, nowadays, the acceptance of students in high school and junior high school get arranged based on their age, not based on their intelligence and academic performance. Based from these things, we could see that from this kind of rules and regulations, we can get the best and better students to join into our school. Why would I say these kind of things? First of all, I come from the batch where my batch get into the school based on our intelligence and academical performance. But the batch under my batch are joining the school not based on their intelligence and their academic performance. Some of them are joining it just from the donations or just from their best on their age. In that case, I could clearly say and I could clearly see the differences between my batch and the batch under my batch are clearly different. First of all, the way that they handle the things, the way that their academic performance are, and the way that how they want to be the better persons are. Not because they are not better than my batch or not better than the students that get arranged based on their intelligence and academical performance, but the way that they just simply make things simple for them just because the regulations are not better than my batch. Not judging that all the students that get arranged by their age are not better than the students that get arranged by their intelligence. But we must know that the intelligence and performance of the students cannot qualify just based on their age. But we must see and know how the intelligence and performance are. Take for example, in every school, there's always a class that got arranged based on their intelligence and their academical performance. Why? Because we all know that if we arrange this kind of class, it could help the students to develop their talents for better in a similar habitat or person. Why would this happen? In psychological way, people will be better person if they are in a good environment or a better environment. In this case, if you are a smart person and you're joined into this class where all of the students are as smart as you get a better motivation, you get a better vibes, and you will be the better version of you itself, rather than in an ordinary classroom. But in the other sides, we never actually see a class that got arranged based on their age, except the class for people who get led to join the school. That's for example. Just based on this status quo, we all could see that arranging students based on their intelligence and academic performance are the best way for our educational environment and system in Indonesia. So let's jump into my side of the house mechanism. My mechanism are pretty clear that first, we would arrange a student based on their intelligence and academic performance to develop their gift or ability better than before. The second mechanism is we would classify a student from the smartest one to the one that should get more affections from the teacher. The short one, we would accept all students from the range of the age, but still arrange them for the class based on their intelligence and academic performance so that they will be the best version of them. Our stance is pretty clear that we would arrange a student in a classrooms based on their intelligence and academic performance so that they could develop their talents way better than the average or normal class in their school. So let's jump into my first argument. My first argument are why the plans of these regulations are better than any of the other regulations. Why? First of all, let me remind you that from a long time ago, there's already a class that got arranged based on their intelligence and academical performance. And not just by that things, we all know that the acceptance of a new student started from elementary school until university are using the classification from their intelligence and academic performance, right? Take for example, there are always a favorite school or favorite university that created because of their classification itself, classifications from classification from their intelligence and academic from the academic performance, such as, take for example, Sena High School 28 in Jakarta and Sena High School 8 in Jakarta, and then Sena High School 9 or Sena High School 2 in Bandar Lampung. Why these kind of things are positive? Because we all know that if we get into the better environment, we get into the environment that could create our best version, it could be the best for us too, not just for us, but for our environment itself. And because of that, why these things happen and always gonna be the best solution or the best way, because after all, if we arrange students from their intelligence and if we arrange the students from intelligence and academic promotion, they always be like more motivation and always think that they're gonna be the best version of them in other rather than in ordinary classes. My second argument are why we should know how intelligent our students are. First of all, we all know that every human in this entire planet are given by God a brain to think and a good and a rational mind. But each human have their own ability to use their gift from God. What I mean is every human have their own ability and limit on their way of thinking. First, take for example, me and my friends have a different way of think and have a different way of reacting to things. In that case, we cannot think that all the people in this world have the same brain or have the same mind or have the same ability to think. In this kind of things or context, we all know that the classification are the best way to get the better version of our generation, not only the best version of classes, but the best version of our generation. Because if we classify things based on how good they are, we're gonna make a good things, not just ordinary things. So ladies and gentlemen, all that I can conclude from my argument is that this kind of regulations that my side of the house bring are the best way for our educational system because of the lack of the negativity and the more of the positivity positivity that comes into this kind of regulation. And that's all that I could say. And thank you so much, and I'm back to purpose.